We will start question about possibilities of usage of various information system in medicine for solving for support practical healthcare activities. Before we will start about application of information system in medicine, few points we have to recap and identify question related to information system in general, their types, classification, etc., etc. So first question is information system basics and understanding of their classification type, and then overview of medical related information system. So definition, information system as well as information technologies, it's like a recap from lecture 1, and then related scientific discipline and classification of information system will be provided there. So as you have to remember, information system, it's system person, data records and activities that process data information given organization within manual process, automated process. Most important point you have to understand when you talk about information system, we must consider staff members who work with those systems. Most times they are not fully automated, automatical solution, but if you talk about real solution, especially for healthcare area, it's every time automated system which incorporates staff members, physician, nurses. And only effectiveness of all these components, effective collaboration of all this between all these components give for us effectiveness of implementation information system in general. So for sure, further in this lecture and next lectures, we are talking only about computer-based information system, which is information technologies component of information system, and it's field for study of information technologies. In general, information system could work without computers, and information system were exist even before electronic computers were invented. So it's again that point important to understand. Remember, so information system as again, if we talk about looking about another definition, we can see it's a combination of information technologies and people's activities support operation, management, and decision making. So here, as we can see, with this pair of definition, like how it's slightly shifted aims and objective of understanding what's information system within just like few years. And even we can find much more definition with even modern books, but all they will play about this component. So here is every time when we're speaking about computer-based information system, it's interaction. So what do we have? First of all, we should have our computer system which run hardware, software. We should have data have to be processed. Then with modern computer system, it's impossible to talk about isolated, and it's only have to be multiply computer terminals linked with network, and staff members who are responsible to input and manage data and system as well. And only all these 4 or 5 components, depending how we will count it, we can talk about successful usage and successfully fulfill business needs. As of about history, I don't want to spend a lot of time of it, just I have to admit that was born of electronic computers and fast introduction in not only under scientific facilities, but attempt to solving business task with it. Fast kind of information system being born, transactional processing system, TPS, could be used for registering everyday operation, everyday in transaction process, and then we pass through and extend capabilities of business information system with various analytical tools. So various kind of management decision support system have to be developed through years, and even by the end of 20th century, all major components already had been prepared, and even up to now we are operating within e-business, e-commerce models, just we step by step updated various hardware solution, and we more and more move from to more and more modern software and hardware solution. As of scientific area, information technology, it's studied, it's scientific area for study, design, development, implementation, support, and management of computer-based information system, particularly software application and computer hardware. So, as a result, IT deals with usage of computer hardware and software to convert, store, protect, process, transmit, retain information with providing necessary security, privacy, access level. Information system, in this case, in scientific area, it's scientific field for studies that address range of strategic, managerial, and operational activities involved in gathering, processing, storing, distribution, and use information and its association technologies and society and organization. So, under the same term, information technology, information system, we have dualism. We have scientific areas for study, which I just denoted, defined, but we have those system itself and their practical application. For sure, for me as scientist, it's more interesting to consider scientific area. For you as future practical physician, will be more interesting to deal with practical system. Actually, we can see how computer science, information science interact with business management needs and how to cover it with information science in general. So here is when we talk about, we have some specific business requirements about automation of specific information workflow. So here is we have to look in about first of all information theorem symmetrical solution, which altogether gives source for electrical engineering and in creating hardware solution, which could form hardware layer for our information system. And information technology take from information theory and business needs methodologies for information processing. So our final outcome is various type of practical information system, which have to be used for fulfill management business tasks within all sort of organization, including healthcare facilities. And all this covered under information science in general. Regarding classification of information system, so there is few approach to classify it, and first of all, it's conventional four-level pyramid, of which denote different types of information system and separated into transaction, management, decision, and executive information system, depending to which level organization had been using and which type of staff members deal with it. And for sure, as you can see, most of ordinary staffs, like talk about hospitals, physician, nurse, will work with a transaction processing system just to input necessary everyday data about like ordinary workflow and retrieve information. And management staff on each level of hierarchy, management hierarchy, will deal with specific kind of information system, which those systems explore information definitely collected within TPS, transaction processing system. So transaction processing system, information system collects, store, modify, retrieve transaction organization. Under transaction, we can, so most people immediately think about money transfer from one bank to another, so financial transaction. Definitely it's example, but in fact transaction, it's even that's generate modified data, it's eventually stored information system. So essence of transaction program is that if managed data that must be left in consistent state. For example, for sure, most likely example, it's money transfer. For electronic payment made, the account must be both withdrawn from one account and added to another. If you cannot complete one of the steps, we must revert to original state. So, or we have successful withdrawal from source account and uplead into recipient account, or if any steps fail, so everything have to be reverted to original states. Same way we talk about if you want to, for example, update patient data within electronic medical records, or we have to be success on when input and store it, or if something failed, or we must revert to previous value. And typical example how it's work. So when we want to even like send the mail, send a report or so. So here is transaction, it's each one atomic operation of which will pass through delivering process. Management information system, or MIS. Please don't confuse it with medical information system, which is fall under the same abbreviate. MIS and MIS. But if you talk about general information system, it will be management information system. If you talk about application medicine, it will become medical information system. Provides information that's needed to manage organization efficiency and effectivity. It's not only a computer system, the system comprises three primary components. Again, technology, people, individual, group, organization, and data information or decision making. So here is how we can join management and even further their further development decision support system. So within management information system, significant final decision made by humans. So here is depending of department of organization and hierarchy of it. Wasn't so major that part of task provided by system. It's collecting preparation data, generating various report, creating visual dashboard, etc., etc. That it's part of system. Then manager made its decision, enter into system, and if you talk about decision support system, it could provide what if analysis and even suggest decision, then made automatical assessment of quality of this decision and provide result back into management information system. In fact, decision support system, every time it's further development of management information system with capabilities to suggest possible solution or even refine it in interactive mode. This can be defined as computer-based information systems that support business organization decision-making activities and serve management, operational and planning levels of organization and help make decisions which may be rapidly changing and not easily specified by advance. Again, DSS can be fully computerized and human or combination of both. And here is like matrix which assign difference and similarity between a management and decision support system. So what support decision provide? Management based mostly related to performance organization, like decision support system provide information techniques to analyze specific problem. So in case of our previous question, when we talk about hypothesis testing, correlation, regressional analysis, in fact, we are working within decision support system. But when we visualize biosignals, we are closely to management information system. So information and frequency, periodic exception response, and with support system we talk about interactive inquiries. That's parameters right now not exact clear and not exact the same. Format of information fixed for pre-specified, fixed for management, and ad hoc flexible for adaptive format. Mostly accurate things, even up to tomorrow. Because with decision support, it's very often it's results of various scientific experiment and methodologies. So various manipulation basic analysis of business data, and with decision support we are speaking about produced by information analytical modeling of business data. So welcome again. We talk about statistical models under hypothesis testing or regressional analysis when we reconstruct again a symmetrical model for our processes. Okay, a specific subtype of management information system, executive information system, type management system, which intend to facilitate and support information decision-making needs for senior executives by providing easy access for both internal and external information relevant to meeting strategic goal of organization. Okay, lots of words in definition, but in fact, it's a combination of management information system with DSS, which produce like nice dashboard with various chats, gauges, numbers, and so on to fulfill needs of executive persons. That's like we have needs of goal with our strategic plan in our organization. Okay, and here is we can classify management levels by different type of information system, like lowest level typically work with general management information system, internal external information resources collected, processed for decision on tactical level, and various visualization mostly used at strategic level for top management. Finally, we can provide extended types for information system when we depending what you concentrate, support of business operation or support of decision making, and we can even extend with more different classes and subtypes of information systems. So again, depending to source, you can find even greatest even more larger classification of types, and especially I want to point your attention to the last group of information system, which contain features of both and include expert system, knowledge management system, as well as strategic information function business system. So here is they deal with integration of decision making as well as support of business operation and introduce full automation of those processes, especially with expert system and knowledge management system. So again, another representation of this classification by using the following matrix, but again, all the same system incorporated. And when we talk about which approach it's possible to use information technology in healthcare, it could be used here within the following chart, and it's involve multiply of various activities with starting from not only support and maintain of medical records or introduce e-commerce for providing commercial clinical care, but we have, like I mean about this in this area, but we have support general infrastructure because our modern hospitals have have introduced and used a lot of electronic equipment, especially in diagnostic facilities. And even we talk about some analytical features with data mining and creating performing scientific analysis, and even up to healthcare education. So again, we are in process of like from first lecture, remember telehealth, because we use information technologies in our lecture just right now. Now more closely to usage of information system in medicine and consider typical application. Like first of all, it's for sure electronic medical records and their usage, then specific solution which deal with electronic medical records like hospital information system, radiology, laboratory information system, laboratory information management system, and PACS. So, in general, medical records, health records, medical charts, systematic documentation of patient medical history and care, and it's actually have been related to, for sure, physical for years, dozens of years, hundreds was mostly related to physical storage, like some folder with papers, but it's also body of this information which comprises the total each patient health history. And within the last decades, we move from paper to digital representation. Despite those decades, we're still in progress, and the paper records still used widely. And I think it will be used maybe forever as sort of extra or extra backup. But main source and main storage must become its electronic representation, its digital form of medical records, which provide number of benefits, which is listed, a part of those benefits listed at this chart. Especially its better, faster access to data, its ability to create various visualization, it's necessary, if necessary, it's create billing records, if we talk about like insurance or commercial care, its ability to conduct scientific research, its ability to present clinical case in medical education easy and quickly, etc., etc. So we can extend given list with greatest number of benefits. For sure, disadvantages available as well, and they are mostly related to insufficient reliability sometimes of data storages, and which was to accidental, which sometimes led to accidental loss of data and various leak of data and loss of privacy. It's maybe some payment for progress. When we deal with electronic medical records, with medical records in electronic format, we have to deal with three sorts of them: EMR, EHR, and PHR. So in fact, EMR, it's electronic medical records, which is created for specific patient within specified medical facility, like healthcare provider, a hospital, or family doctor. And such as very often patient visit multiply physician, like family doctor, and then his personal dentist, it's obvious that he will have multiply EMR record will be created for this patient. So if possible, it would be very important with development of national healthcare system to integrate all this record under single EHR record, which represent summarizing of medical records for specific patient collected within different facilities. And if patient allowed to access this part of this data, or if patient perform some observation of his health care, which is quite obvious and very common case for like modern time. So actually, in fact, even me, so here is time to monitor blood pressure every day, not become more health with years. So this case, patient have ability to create or manage personal health record. So it could become again combination of own observation made with own devices and with access to to some part of EMR, EHR record within various providers. So again, there is at least three groups of medical records in electronic format. EMR, information on patient for within specific provider. EHR, integrated record from across multiple provider, and personal managed personal health record. Okay, so practical implementation and practically electronic medical records could be stored within hospital or clinical or medical information system. So here, as I have used even three terms, they could be used like replacement one to another, but they are not exactly the same. For example, hospital information system and clinical information system, in general, dedicated to manage administrative, financial, and clinical aspects of a hospital. But depending to priority, which is signed as fast, we will be able to separate it. In fact, the goal of usage of it, it's replacement that paper towers with, this is actually, yes, for one patient, with accessing it into electronic format, if possible. Hospital information system passed through significant way from monolithic isolated application in 1960s, 70s, through distributed system at the end of 20th century, and now typically mostly moved into various cloud and provide system as services or infrastructure or access for various providers. So like in the past, it was necessary for healthcare organization to manage hardware by their own. Right now, significant amount of demands and routine operation and the hardware could be dedicated dedicated to external organization, and systems could be delivered only network. So what is remain for healthcare organization? It's only develop and support their network environment within facility, or offer physician ability to access to network access on their own. Like, okay, you can use your own device just for compensation. Yes, in this case, a legal question could arise. Now I want to sign difference between clinical information system and hospital information system. So hospital information system typically like clinical information system usually concentrate on patient-related clinical state-related data. So in fact, clinical information system mostly responsible to maintain electronic medical records on patient. When hospital information system very often dedicated to support administrative issue within hospitals, despite usually they contain information about patient registration, check-in, check-out, ward assignment, duties assignment, etc., etc. So it's very difficult to make clear distinction between those pair of system, and in this reason, very often term medical information system has been used, but still would be fine to keep this in mind. If you talk about mostly clinical application, it's CIS, clinical information system. If you talk about solving administrative problem, so here have to be hospital information system. And if you talk about typical tasks that's implemented by both CIS and HIS, is for hospital information system. It's administrative support and logistic planning of patient care investigation, patient data collection, so acquisition of maximum possible information, which is important for decision making, support decision making process, or at least collect data, which will give physician ability to make decision. Monitoring and assessment of therapy, application of therapy, creating reporting, various quality assurance and assessment of treatment results, and so on. So here is here we place administrative support at first position. And we talk about hospital information system, how to turn it into clinical information system. We just have to move down administrative support somewhere at monitoring or reporting level and bring patient data collection, decision making, therapy monitoring in the first place. And here is will be if features of system mostly related to this task we're talking about this. If related to administrative question, we have video with HIS. How it could be look like practically conventional, well known for decades Vista hospital information system, which is support various features up to administrative support and creating integrating of medical images. Laboratory information system. Laboratory information, or LIAS, class of software which handles retrieving, processing and storing information generated by medical laboratory process. Major features, its interface with instrument, which allow to acquisition results of examination, testing directly and store it directly into hospital format. Second recommended features, its integration with hospital information system, or HIS. Basic common features, it's like patient check-in, order entry, specimen processing, which is exactly what is aim of it, results entry or acquisition directly from instruments, reporting, and it's all, and delivery of results. Like other features, we could be extended even with various demographic information and so on, but it's not necessary. So at reporting and results delivery, small mistake in chat, we could stop. All other things, it's not necessary. But interface and ability to exchange information with other system is vital. So laboratory. Here is given list of laboratory science supported by laboratory information system, and actually we can even extend it with our possible type of examination. So very popular situation when we have like offshore laboratory which provides service for like hospitals, small clinics, or even family doctor. So he doesn't have a laboratory usually, and just recommend for you to take some tests. So you visit any available medical laboratory, provide, or their staff collect samples from you, and few hours, days or so, you retrieve your response. In ideal case, even your physician could retrieve if you refer him with like laboratory has necessary contact information. When here is given typical workflow, how it's passed through all the steps. And again, ideal case, it would be fine to create all necessary backups and provide results immediately, not only for you, but your physician as well. Other hand, you will need to bring this result to your family doctor, which is actually I do from time to time. Laboratory information management system. So just one extra word, And it's computer software that's used in laboratory for management of samples, laboratory user instruments, standards, and other laboratory functions such as invoicing, plate management, etc., etc. So here is difference between LIMS and LIS-Z. LIMS generally targeted environmental research and commercial analysis, like pharmaceutical, petrochemical, and LIS targeted toward a clinical market. And there is no other significant difference. All other things very significant. And here is shown how it could be. Again, major features: its interface with instrument, its ability to retrieve results, to perform acquisition results of measures immediately into system, and provide various validation, analysis, and so on. So here is exact that step. Passing through test and interface with instruments. Radiology information system or any other departmental medical information system. In this case, when we talk about HIS, CIS, or MIS, we are keep in mind that such system covered major part of hospital. When we talk about departmental system, means it's dedicated to fulfill requirements from the specific department. For example, laboratory information system typically used only within medical laboratory, hospital medical laboratory, or offshore laboratory. In this case, same way we can talk about radiology information system. You could be used within radiology department, store, manipulate, distribute patient radiological data and imaginary. So if we have, especially it's important for radiology, when we can collect huge amount of data within imaging, within computer tomography, and it's not necessary to immediately keep it within central hospital information system. So it could be preserved within RIS system. But features will be similar to those from LIS. Patient registration, patient scanning, result entry, reporting, result delivery, patient tracking if necessary. So one of the most important is like result delivery or interface with, again, hospital information system. And here is structure as how it could be represented within different systems. So first of all, general representation of such system with block components, like we have servers which is connected, computers connected to various imaging systems, or some specific solution within maybe particular radiology department, which involve multiple workplaces for physician, various imaging device connected all together, and some specific hardware dedicated to permanent storage data, creating various type of backups, or even filming, paper backups, and so on. So multiply vendor offers their solution, and here is we have in other points. Very often it's difficult to distinguish radiology information system from picture human communication system, especially in this chart. You can see that both together, because what this company it's offer, it's even like greatest complex solution which combine all, which cover all hospital needs regarding to visualization techniques. So they integrate both RIS and PACS within one system. And here is I'm moving from RIS to PACS, and in general in medical imaging, picture human communication system computer network dedicated to storage, retrieve, distribution, and presentation of images. So in fact, images could be created not only within radiology department, so even other hospital department, for example, gastroenterology, could generate medical images. And here is we have, or ophthalmology, or other. And in this case, there is question how to aggregate all these images together. For sure, we can extend the RIS system, but it's another approach is to introduce picture archiving communication system. Or it might happen that even our hospital does not have radiology department. In case of small clinics, it's quite often. So here is the only solution, or we have only basic radiology equipment. And in this case, that's more practical approach will be to usage more generalized PACS system, which have almost exactly the same aim, just difference in details between RIS. And again, important features in addition to interface with imaging equipment is support of DCOM, or digital imaging communication medicine, a special data format and network protocol format dedicated to exchange medical images. And here is how it practically looks like. It's almost not only PACS, but even operation system for conventional computer tomography images. So here is how it can be seen within PACS system. Aim is to replace hard copy based means of managing medical images such as film archives, and provide extended possibility to access data not only for physician but even for education or scientific research, or even for remote access in case of application of medical technologies in hospitals. So PACS should provide single point of access for images and their associated data. So here is important point. And for sure, we have to be, if we have multiple information system within hospitals, we must have all this necessary integration with other systems like HIS, RIS, and so on. And here is shown in chart similarity and difference between radiology and the PACS information system. So what is in common like archiving, and what is similar and different. And even again, PACS and RIS within hospital and how they could interact within some hospital workflow and data manage it, how we can join all together hospital information system, RIS, PACS, and even with remote access if necessary. Here is, in this case, when we can be instantly provide some information even during emergency evacuation, and feel information, and even got some images if it's capable immediately. So finally, how we can create hospital information system. It's going to be composed of one of few software components with specialty specific extension, as well as large varieties of system and medical specialty. So here is we can talk about like hospital information system could be something like visually look like monolith, but in fact could be assembled with multiple software components. And in this case, it's called integrated medical information system, which could cover various features like support electronic medical records, PACS, web access, features related to hospital information system like various administrative information management at left side, treatment information at right side, and so on. So it's only block design, because practical implementation could be very different depending on practical solution. So what is important is integration. It's integration of information system to avoid unnecessary redundancy, to avoid duplication of data, and so on. And first level of integration is for sure data integration, when data registered within one application have to be available for another, and typically it's implemented with shared database, when one data storage when multiply application connected to the same data storage. One of modern implementation is so-called microservice architecture, but there is plenty of such similar solution. Another way, next level of integration is presentation of integration. The data from various applications have to be presented to user in an adequate and consistent way. So a nice example, it's like solution like Microsoft Office or Google Workspace, which give us uniform access for data, and function integration, which represents third level of integration, that function different application available of qualified user with one user environment, and in this case, various cloud technologies, especially Google Workspace or Office 365. It's exactly a nice example, because all we need is web browser to access our application, which has been executed within almost single interface. So to fulfill this medical information exchange, just few words for the end about interoperability. So interoperability, it's ability of different information technology system and software technologies to communicate, to exchange data accurately, effectively and consistently, and to use the information that has been exchanged. So health information exchange, or IE, it's mobilization of healthcare information electronically, access organization within a region or community. For example, in like about 17 years ago, United States Office of National Coordination for Healthcare Information Technologies was created in order to address interoperability issues and establish national health information network. So, United States, 17 years ago, it was necessary federal activity to establish this. Like about in Ukraine, we have started our e-health system just about 3 years ago, and we are already in progress, and we have significant issue with interoperability. Anyway, number of before it. So if we talk about level of interoperability, so we have at least 4: when electronic data, which is non-electronic data, which like provide poor interoperability. Then we have 3 better levels: machine transportable data, various like unstructured document, like an indexed document, like fax, emails, and so on. Then machine organizable data and machine interpretable data. Most of healthcare information now they are on 3rd level, of which based on HL7 messages and indexed labeled document had to be used. And with machine interpretable data, we talk about ability to automatically process and extract and encode, decode, for example, those HL7 messages sent from one system to another without interaction with human operator, which will give ability to feed records from one feed records in target system by information obtained from recipient. So actually here is given family and even not full list of various standards, which is dedicated for implementing interoperability within healthcare information system. So I already mentioned and I noted on second lecture about HL7, I already noted about DCOM, and we have multiply extra other standards which is used within different organizations or countries. And here is just denoted a few of this, which is most important is HL7 used messages used to interchange between hospital and physician record system and between EMR system and practice management system. So HL7 implement clinical document architecture and use it to communicate documents such as physician notice and other materials. And DCOM, as I already mentioned, it had been used for exchanging of medical images. And here is how possible to implement and how it could be incorporate usage of how clinicians, staff members, physicians, and nurses who have to deal with various systems or with information obtained with various systems. It have to be, but in reality we have a number of issues in this level. So thank you for your attention, and we will continue with details about electronic medical records and decision support system on the next pair of lectures. Have a nice day.